is the Welcome to Raw is Jericho!
The following announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Listen up, you blind slapnut.
If I can be serious for a minute.
This is the Flex Network. This is the Flex Network. Flex on them. Flex on everybody.
The real reason I came here tonight is because we are live!
We Flex are NXT.
It's your time, folks!
Sweet! A little bit of the bubbly.
The preceding announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
For life.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all the ages, it is that time of the week again. It is time for Thursdays. That means it's time for your Flex Network Wrestling Weekend Review Show here on the Flex Network. We're live on Facebook, we're live on YouTube, and we are live on that Twitter, that little blue bird. We are live there. Man, what a week we've had. We're building up to Survivor Series, everybody. We are on that last road, that last week before we hit Survivor Series, best of the best this coming week. Big news coming out of, WWE, NXT, and just in general, a whole lot of stuff been going down. But for anyone that hasn't really been paying attention this past week or over the last week, we've been hyping something a little bit. Something, I feel like I always have fun with, because we have a special guest with us here today on the Shizzo. He is my brother from another mother. He is the boss, the CEO, the head honcho, the main man over at WAC without a crowd now for the time being. He is Mr. Maxie. What is up?
Hey, thank you so much, Eric. Thank you so much to having me back on the Flex Network. Super happy to be here, and I'm happy to talk about some wrestling and see what's going on.
Oh, that is just, so good to hear. Welcome back again. I mean, it's always great to have you on the show. So, off the bat, what have you been doing? What has Max been up to in the last, little while since we last spoke?
Well, we had started up the school, obviously, the Dragon X-Plex Dojo, started up at our home venue, and then through that we were going to be doing some tapings and some stuff. However, we've been going back and forth on exactly like how to do it safely, etc. And obviously now with all of the more recent regulations that are up, we're actually going to halt any future tapings. But we do have about 7 or 8 episodes of Without a Crowd ready to go. And we've been airing them live on twitch.tv/MaxWrestlingWA. Every single dollar, bit, subscription, etc., they all go to funding the next shows, all that good stuff. But whenever that is going to be now, but we're just so super happy to have some sort of content out for what we can do, because we can't do what we do best, which is bring in 220, 240 people into the VFW and rock the place.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it sucks, of course, with this freaking COVID. I mean, literally, as soon as 2020 hits, or 2021 hits, it's going to be like the first rule of 2021. You do not talk about 2020
It's
at
true.
all. It's I literally cannot wait for the day we could, the restrictions are down and we can have shows again and we can bring people back in and have that energy back.
Agreed. Same. I think I mentioned it the last time that I was on that, it's been such a, it's been such a weird time because wrestling was, part of my output of creativity and the creative juices and everything. And now with like, I've been doing a lot more Twitch alongside the wrestling Twitch stuff, but it not having like such a vital portion of your output, like it stunts you creatively. And I was talking to, I was talking to you right before we went live, but I've not been watching wrestling, like any wrestling, even independent wrestling, for like the last month or so. And I'm slowly getting back into it because I was so sad to see all the stuff that was going on that I couldn't be a part of, that we couldn't do anything about. And that's kind of where I land. But I've got, there's a lot of good stuff to catch up on, especially on the independent scene that I'm excited to catch up on. So,
Oh yeah, I mean it's it's that mentality. You don't want to watch a whole lot and get burned out, and look at wrestling and be like, I mean, yeah, I'm not enjoying it as once as I did. I'm gonna probably go do something else for a little bit, take a breather.
mhm.
But I do have a question for you because with WAC and your boy, your world heavyweight champion of the world, Chris Bay,
Yep.
down there in Impact, but now he's going to be representing, Impact Wrestling / you in the Super J Cup coming up in the month of December. How you feeling about that? Seeing your world champ in the New Japan's Super J Cup.
So it's been a couple months since I've talked to Chris, but I'm super pumped for him. I know that over the last like 3.5 years, he's really kind of put himself on the map, obviously, and he's really been one of the best wrestlers, signed or unsigned and then now signed, to come out and really break through over the last like 3 or 4 years. He's an incredible talent. I miss him dearly. The last time I saw him was on March 1st, and I've seen him every single month since August of last year. And not being able to see him, I'm like, and that goes honestly for like most of our regulars and anybody we bring in. Like it sucks that we're not able to see everybody. And but man, I'm so happy for Chris, and I know that like he's got this thing where it's not, he's not lucky. He's earned this. He deserves this because he's worked his ass off to get there. So it's really, really cool to see just how much and how far he's gotten in the last like year and a half since we've been really working with him. So
Oh yeah, man. March seems just so far away now. Like it's like it feels like it's a year ago to for everyone.
it is
pre-pandemic.
Yeah. I mean, pre-COVID, like I remember I went to a bar show in Seattle on March 1st, and I saw Warhorse, I saw Tuna, who was a wrestler from down in California, and then I saw Chris and Matt Cross, and I don't typically take photos with the wrestlers. Like that's not my thing. Like I don't really care. But like I consider Chris a friend, and I consider Warhorse a friend. I'm like, man, it sucks that I don't know when I'm gonna see them again, because they were both ready to come out in March. Obviously, we had to cancel the show and every show since. But
Yeah.
not having the love around it sucks, and it's it definitely takes a toll. But I'm super happy for him, and I just wish that I would have given him a hug a little bit longer on March 1st if I knew it was going to be almost a year since I seen him.
Yeah, if we all knew back then what we knew now, sitting here November, and we're literally sitting here at our own homes and nothing's going down. But yeah, I mean, a month from now, under a month from now, December 12th, he's going to be participating in the Super J Cup tournament. It's a one-night event. It's in LA, so he's staying, in the country. Doesn't have to go to New Japan and quarantine for the 2 weeks that everyone's saying that you need to do. So he's still in the U.S. I had his opponent, that first night is going to, in that first round, is going to be Clark Connors.
Yeah. So can I interject? I
right ahead.
I also know Clark. So Clark used to wrestle out here a whole bunch. And I remember he's one of the more driven people that I've ever met in wrestling. I'm not super close with him, obviously, but I remember we worked. I was doing camera work for a show out in Bremerton called PWF, and he wrestled like 3 times that night. And I'm like, man, this guy has it. He looks incredible. So I know that Chris Bay has his work cut out for him, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Bay Day all day.
So can we get your official prediction on that you're calling it Chris Bay in the first round?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Chris Bay. And then are we gonna go through the rounds?
Yeah, we could go through the rounds. Just shooting the breeze here. For the wrestlers that you've seen, I've seen. So first round, of course, Clark Connors taking on Chris Bay. First round. Next will be ACH taking on the former first. I have to really put this in perspective. It is the first ever of the current version of the WWE / now NXT Cruiserweight Champion TJP in the first round.
Yeah.
So
the new lineage of the Cruiserweight title, TJP being the first newer champion of that lineage. I think ACH goes off. I think it's going to be a Chris Bay versus ACH semifinal.
Okay, that'll be a good matchup to see right there. And then Ray Horace, or if I'm saying, I swear to God, I keep saying this every time I'm on here. I butcher names. That's just how bad I am with names.
It's his gimmick.
Yeah, it's my gimmick. Ray Horace taking on Blake Christensen from Game Changer Wrestling. That actually should be a very great match to see right there too. A lot of fast-paced action in that.
Yeah, both Blake Christian and Alex Zane got like super popular at the same time earlier last year. And I'm super pumped for both of them. I really like Blake. I think Ray is probably gonna eke it out this time. But knowing how good Blake is, I wouldn't be surprised if he's next on the big list of signings from either company or from any of the companies.
Oh yeah. And then final first round matchup is last year's winner, El Phantasmo, taking on the Moth, Leo Rush.
I think it's gonna go Chris Bay versus ACH, Ray Horace versus Leo Rush.
Ooh, putting out the last year's champ in the first round.
Leo Rush
beats
Ray Horace, and then it's going to be a Chris Bay versus Leo Rush final.
Oh, that where's the meme right now for just take my money right now? I want to see it.
If I'm booking the show, that's how I would do it.
Yeah, that should be a darn good Super J Cup one-day tournament next month in December on the 12th. That should be a great matchup right there. A great tournament right there on its own. Be sure everyone check that out. That's gonna be fun to see. But let's get in, now that we're obviously talk about Chris Bay and everything, we got done through that. There has been some new news coming out in the wrestling world, to say the least. Of course, last week, the big bombshell shocker that Zelina Vega got released from her contract at WWE, with everything going on in this pandemic, and obviously people trying to find things to do in their off time, with the scheduling, with no traveling and no going here and there to entertain everyone in the world. People have to find different ways to entertain, and obviously a lot of superstars finding their way onto Twitch, finding their way onto Camo, to interact with their fans, maybe do some OnlyFans stuff, for if you're a cosplayer, do some photo shoots, and sell them out. And I guess WWE, of course, WWE issued that notice to its superstars. Hey, you gotta stop with the third party, stuff. And yeah, I just found it crazy that literally someone as popular, on Twitch, Zelina getting that release, and along now, she does it with her husband, Aleister Black. For those of you who don't know, I was literally flabbergasted, seeing that news.
I'm obviously none of us really know the inner workings of all the contract negotiations that go on. I'm in the business, but I'm not in the business in the WWE business. It's such a different level of contact and content.
Yeah.
Honestly, it sucks that WWE has put forth this mandate about Twitch and third party avenues unless it's through them. I understand from a standpoint that if you help create this person, then maybe you should be in line for something. But honestly, I'm not. Let these people do whatever they're doing, as long as it's not hurting the product. Like, as long as they're not going on Twitch and saying, F WWE, and this person in the backstage is a creep or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, as long as also, by the way, if somebody is a creep, you should absolutely blast them. You should absolutely do that.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to, as long as people aren't bad mouthing the company in ways that don't make any sense. You don't want to obviously have anybody on the payroll that is causing a ruckus for illegitimate reasons, or for stupid reasons, obviously. So it sucks. But Zelina Vega was one of, I think she's in the top 50 of subscribed talent, or subscribed people to on Twitch. So she's doing quite fine on Twitch. And then she also had a conversation with the president, or the commissioner, or the chair of SAG-AFTRA, which is the Screen Actors Guild, which is the actors union, basically. So wrestling and unionization has been a very contested topic from the 50s and 60s onwards. And that's kind of where I think things might be heading, because if you're WWE and all wrestling companies, their talent are independent contractors. They're not employees. They don't, there's a difference in status. So if WWE wants to provide healthcare, which in some circumstances they do, especially if you get hurt, etc. If they want to start calling them employees and requiring them to do employee things, then they should be full-time employees and they should get all the benefits therein. So
I mean, and to go off what you're saying, I see it both ways. I look at both situations, and I see it somewhat from both angles. From the wrestler standpoint, right now, in this current world right now, without going to going to different places and traveling and going to towns, cities, and providing entertainment for their fans. And they're losing out on their appearance money, and obviously losing out on going to promote at a radio station, or go to Cricket Wireless and do an autograph signing, go to or coming up here to Everett, going to a Funko and get being signed for an autograph session. They're losing out on money, this money that they were normally getting a year ago. And the only source of income that they're getting is, of course, their contract money that they're guaranteed through their contract, and maybe what else, their t-shirts that they're being, their merchandise that they're being sold on WWE Shop. So the superstars, some that are obviously going to Twitch and are interacting with their fans, and their fans are subscribing to them, maybe $5, to view them a month, dropping 50 bombs, paying all this money to get more people into and to view you. So that's more money right there, and it's kind of a equaling out of what they would have made this year if it was a normal year. This is equaling out to recouping their money that they've lost for the year because of the COVID. And of course, Camo, same thing. They're a quick little hi, little Timmy. This is so and so, just wanted to send you a little video, your friend paid for this and blah blah blah. So personalized little messages. And OnlyFans, for obviously for maybe some people who are doing cosplay, like Zelina. She's put up, you can pay for if you pay $500, you can get a autograph photo in a cosplay. Or you pay $5,000 for, you get to pick the shoe, and we'll send you a whole bunch of autograph photos of that. So it's just finding ways to recoup, and they're not doing anything wrong. It's they're doing it on their own time. They're at home, off of work. It's not like they're doing it at the Performance Center or at the Thunderdome during when they're supposed to be at work.
Right.
Or they're not doing it at on company time, to where like they're on the bump, and they're or they're getting ready for the bump, or they're doing some they're looking like their character on TV. They're at home on their off time, and they're not doing anything on company time. But I also see it as also with what from the company standpoint, because to a point, I should say, that you are, you have these individuals who are doing stuff not under your umbrella, and it's, depending on what it is, and, of course, they're forging these relationships, in which some of it may be good, some of it may be, indifferent from the company's view, and you want to put, you're trying to change your business model to the current atmosphere. And it's a weird situation, for both sides, because you're trying to figure out, how do we do this to a way that we're being fair to the wrestlers who are still under contract. And, obviously it's not in their contract right now with the, with pandemic and everything going on. And then trying to rework that, and trying to be a company that is, interacting with its fans, granted, like with what they're doing right now with the Thunderdome and the NXT, with you get to be a part of the Thunderdome and fan experience, and sit at home and watch from your seat, online, be in the Thunderdome. So it's weird. I mean, even to the point like now WWE has posted a job opening for their own expansion into the Twitch platform. They're looking for a GFX motion designer for Twitch as an official job title. Right. So
they're going to create their own WWE Twitch accounts, and then they'll be able to, then their stars will be able to use those accounts, which is what I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And look, I think it's stupid. I think just let them do whatever they want to do, especially since they're not employees, But like it sucks. And I think that this might be like the straw that breaks the camel's back on just how WWE is viewed in terms of like employee relations. I think it's going to be a lot different in the coming year, which is good and bad. But we'll definitely see. Once again, not part of the WWE business, not part of, I don't know anything about the contracts there. So it's,
we're just looking at how we're reading it. That's all it is. And of course, Zelina's under that no compete clause for 90 days. So we won't be seeing her in a ring until mid-November. Mid-February, I meant to say, which sucks because she was, I believe she was getting a good push over on Smackdown, getting the transfer over along with her husband, Aleister Black. And I guess obviously he was, putting in a request to go back to NXT, but I guess that was denied. At least that's what I'm hearing. So, yeah, just a lot of craziness, and again, with the current atmosphere, the current world we live in, and everyone jumping on Twitch, to kill off, to have some interaction with their fans. And I kind of really do not, again, I don't really like what WWE's kind of doing. I mean, with this, with trying to get, fan interactions to a point with, like their fan access kind of deal. Like they're trying to do right now is have you pay like $125 or I forgot what amount of money it was, and you get like a 2-minute interaction with the WWE superstar on the like under their umbrella. Not like if you go to Twitch and pay $5 and you get like a month to they play video games.
Right.
It's just crazy. So, but
yeah, it's
weird.
It is crazy, but on the flip side, on the business end, Alexa Bliss was able to sell like 6 or 7 of those $500 cameos in like a minute. So if they can do that under the WWE umbrella and catch a little bit of the money, like as a business, I understand, but it's a crappy and shifty way of doing that. So. Don't do that, WWE. Boo. Big boo.
Boo that company for a little bit. And I mean, I guess even Undertaker's getting into the camo, and he's going to be charging buku bucks for
$1,000, right?
Yeah, $1,000. And I think maybe Vince gave him the permission to do it. I think that's maybe why, to a point, because he is. If I read correctly, he is signed until like 2030.
Oh yeah,
for some reason.
Yeah. Well, so he signed another 15-year deal back in 2017 because he was going to be on Starcast, and then they pulled.
Oh yeah, I remember
because he did he re-upped with with Vince, which is ultimately fine. Don't spend $1,000 to have a cameo done by Undertaker. It's not. Spend it on a better, spend a 10th of the money or a 15th or the 20th of the money and get a way better, way cooler, and to somebody who needs it or like who could use it, like Danhausen, Effie, any of these independent wrestlers. I know they're not as big and popular as WWE stars, but like these people work so hard to make their life work that, man, doing a $40 or $50 cameo instead of $1,000 Undertaker cameo, do it 20 times for them, and that will make their don't do the Undertaker one. That's all I'm saying. And this is coming from an Undertaker mark. Like, I love the Undertaker, the wrestler, big fan. But Don't spend money.
I think we're both marks for the Undertaker. I mean, come on, it's Deadman Incorporated. It's the Dead Man, and we've loved seeing him every time he comes out. It's always a blast, either hearing the gong or, when came to WrestleMania, 19, hearing Dead Man walking, and we get Limp Bizkit singing. Rolling when he was under the "You Done It Now," that his comeback.
Big mistake.
I love that theme. But you know what? Since we're plugging stuff here. I mean, where can people go and get some WAC merch, my man? Where could they go and get some?
Since we're doing plugs, we can go ahead and chit chat about. We have a storefront on Brainbuster Tees, brainbustertees.com. They are actually, it is headed up by a couple of friends of mine, Taylor and also Keenan. Taylor is our ring announcer for the for the WAC shows, and then also we do have a What a Maneuver shop that has a couple of our older merch products. There we go. Our older merch.
Well, I mean, speaking of Brainbuster Tees, I mean, heck, you're on there, and we're on here. The Flex Network is also on there. Go and get yourself some beautiful Flex Network merchandise. We have our old school logo on there. We got some pillows. We got some shirts. We got some socks, some flip flops. I mean, we even got our new logos on there. So make sure you guys go and check that out. We're there too. You can find, the Flex Network there under that other, additional brands, or sorry, is it other? I think it's other brands or wrestling brands. But yeah, you can go and find both of our stuff out there at brainbustertee.com. Go and get you some merch, guys. Yeah.
And look good. Well, and look good doing it, because they are soft and nice as hell.
Oh yeah, I figure we gotta get that. Our favorite, Mick Foley cheap plug in there.
Cheap plug.
We're so mankind. We're so Commissioner Mick Foley marks right here.
Oh, it's true. It is true for sure.
Oh God, I feel like I would swear to everything that is holy that you would go on, not only to if I want to say it's Pro Wrestling Tees. They actually have a Mick Foley style commit-ish shirt on there. There is a commissioner shirt.
Awesome.
I've seen it. I can't remember which part of the site it is, but it is on Pro Wrestling Tees. And I was like, I saw it. I'm like, oh my God, it looks so like the shirt back in 2000, where he just, it is my wish because I am the commissioner.
I love it.
Oh, it's so good. But all right, so other quick little things. Actually, more happy, things coming up. Miss Bliss actually got engaged over the weekend. Congratulations to her. You guys, everyone would know the song that he was, known for, On the Way Down. It was a good song back in the 2000s. It was good. I remember it.
2000s. Oh God.
In that 2000s era.
Oh God, I'm so old.
Hey, the beards on us say, we're old to a point, but and then announced over the week, New Day is going to be in Gears 5 as DLC characters. That is going to be awesome. In Gears 5, to see the.
Yeah, it looks wild. They look very good.
I mean, heck, you have Batista in there as a character, so why not get the New Day in it? Looks good. And then, of course, even more great news. Mox and Renee Young, Paget, are expected with their first child. The announcement was made on AEW TV last night that they were expecting. So congrats to them. It's more great news, more happy news.
Happy news.
And then a couple more little things before we get into, other, some on-air stuff that we've been seeing. War Games has been announced for December 6th, the first weekend in December. And that one looks fire as hell coming up. We'll talk about what the card looks like for right now, what we know. And then, of course, WWE is, of course, leaving Amway Center December 4th. They have announced that they are, they're heading to, of all places, Tropicana Field. So that kind of more has a feel to like it's going to be a Royal Rumble feel with that, because they're going to Tropicana Field, of course, because NBA is going to be back in December on the 22nd. They're starting up their season, so the Magic need the court, need the center, and of course the ECHL's Orlando Solar Bear team, team. I forgot. I know it. I have it, but I've had it in my notes from like way long ago. But I think it's that's the name. The Orlando Polar Sun Bears, I believe it is, for hockey, amateur hockey down there.
Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna need the ice, for the Amway Center. So WWE is supposed to be out by December 4th, and they will be moving to Tropicana Field starting December 11th. Smackdown will be the first show, because granted, baseball's not season's not even starting until April 1st, so they're gonna have a lovely time between then and April 1st. So should be great. But that is what has been going on in the news itself. So now, unfortunately, for everyone that has not been watching TV and watching, what's been going on wrestling, because we're going to be getting into some spoilers. So, when you hear the woo, that means it's spoiler. Oh, sorry. I forgot. Never mind. I removed that. Let's try that. Blah, blah, technical. Blah. So let's try again. If you hear the woo, it's spoiler time. So,
Earmuffs.
Earmuffs, everybody, if you haven't been watching the TV. But we're going to start with that cause, because you guys are coming up this Sunday for your third Without a Crowd show.
Yep.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's run down the card and let's see what's going to be happening this coming weekend.
Yeah.
Mr. Max?
So we do have four sort of matches. Sorry, sort of four matches. They're definitely wrestling matches, but we're going to start off with here with the Lucha Ghoul Sonico, who is a local Pacific Northwest luchador. He's been around the bend a few times. He went he's been out in the East Coast for a bit. He's been all over. Then he'll be facing our favorite bear, Jacob Oso, also known as Cubby, and that match is quite good. We have Drake Kwan, who is a more recent talent acquisition for Without a Crowd. He is a big scary boy, and he just demolishes people. So he actually there's a little bit of secrecy around him a little bit, and you'll find out more about him on Sunday at 3 p.m. PST. Then we have the Bash Bros, Dave Turner and Big Facts Chris Ross, or Ace of Base Chris Ross. He changes his name a lot. And they, as the Bash Bros tag team, are facing the devil himself, Drexel, and Pele. Pele is just a kid, and he signed a deal with the devil, and I'm unsure if he knows what he's gotten himself into, but we will see how that transpired on Sunday. Finally, the tail of the tape for Max Burnside and Jaden, the unbelievable Jaden. These two have gone at it probably 100 times, and they used to be tag team partners as well. And now they just fight and hate each other. So that'll be the 4 matches live on Sunday. And after that, it will be every 2 weeks on Sunday at twitch.tv/MaxWrestlingWA. Right there. It's
Yeah,
over
right here.
It's right over there.
Yeah, you guys can go check that out. You will be showing this WAC Without a Crowd episode 3 at 3 p.m. Pacific time. So get you some of that wrestling right there. Some local Everett wrestling for you guys to go and check that out. Go and show these guys some love on the Twitch. Some loving.
Big love
over there. Because, these guys are working their butts off. I mean, literally, with everything going on, these guys can use some big loving. And they, of course, we've had, WC has had some past, famous wrestlers, even some ones we all know, like TJP. We've had, who else have you guys had?
We've had Hammerstone. We've had, obviously, Chris Bay. We've had. I'm trying to dance around all of the people that we can't talk about anymore. Oh God, let's see here.
Didn't you have A. Edwards for a show?
Edwards last November? Eddie Edwards. We've had Warhorse. We've had Danhausen, Effie. We've had. I think I mentioned Chris Bay. A host.
Well, Chris Bay is technically a member of your roster because he is your world.
He is our world champion. But we also have incredible local talent such as Daniel Makabe, who is one of the best technical wrestlers that is not signed. We have an incredible tag team division between State of Emergency, the Strays, Bash Bros, Steve Miggs, local celebrity Steve Miggs. He is our verified champion. So hey, what's up, Nagurski? So yeah, it's just a little a ton of local talent and a ton of the very, very best of independent in independent wrestling.
Oh yeah. So again, guys, go and check these guys out, especially when we get out of this freaking COVID situation.
COVID.
I feel like that's more like a Kaiba moment right there. Just COVID. Oh my God. It gives us so much time being at home and watching all the, of our old favorite shows. But yeah, go and check out these guys, even on Twitch. You can go and even go back on, of course, Twitch Max, Twitch's Max Wrestling WA. Go back and watch the first 2 shows of Without a Crowd. They're looking pretty good. They're looking great, guys. Going out, double check with these guys.
And we have a new title coming.
Oh, yes. I remember you guys have a new title. That BEA beautiful tag team titles. You guys.
Oh, not only that, we have a new title that we can't.
New.
I'm not talking about it yet because it has to air first.
well, first of all, wait until wait until that new title, to spill any beans. Wait until anything comes up with that, and we'll bring it back here to, show it off. And
yeah, it's a beautiful belt.
But I even want to even talk about quickly before we get to, even more for, further into the show, the tag team titles. Those tag team titles. I remember, showing them on the last show that you were here. It was beautiful. I kind of want to get into, have you figured out a way to bring him in, or are you going to wait until we're out of this COVID situation?
I think we have to wait until we can have shows again because a lot of our talent comes from Canada, and obviously we can't have Canadians coming down.
Canada.
And right before the pandemic, we were going to be crowning State of Emergency as champions, but it's it just doesn't work anymore, and that's okay. We're gonna do something fun when we can.
Yeah, that just sounds so great, man. I mean, I would have figured that you would, of course we're going to have it, I would think you might do like some sort of tag team tournament, first couple weeks back, get some shows going and do a tag team tournament to crown new tag team champions. Your first ever tag team champions.
Also, I hate to do this. I'll be right back. Like 2 seconds. Keep the show going. I'll be
Oh,
back.
don't
in, like,
worry.
2
I will
seconds.
just do this. Boom. I just knocked Mr. Max out of frame for a little bit. He'll be back, guys. We'll continue on down the road a little bit for him. We'll talk a little SmackDown, go through what went down on SmackDown this past week. Sami Zayn defending the IC Championship against Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews did not win the Intercontinental Championship and represent SmackDown for the Survivor Series as the Intercontinental Champion, as he lost, getting tied up out on the outside of the ring via countout. So Sammy is still your IC champ. Otis taking on Dolph Ziggler, one-on-one action. Otis picks up the victory, trying to regain some momentum after losing the Money in the Bank contract and having his best friend screw him over, and former tag team partner, who's now essentially being the jobber on Raw. Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins finished off their rivalry in a no-holds-barred match. A lot of kendo sticks, interference, and we finally have this. Finally, have the story almost completely done. I mean, to a point. As Rey Mysterio picks up the victory over Seth Rollins on, celebrating Eddie Guerrero during that match, and we will bring him back. Let me get the force back in. Poof.
I'm here.
I brought them. Oh, I hit the wrong button. I brought him back. He's back in the frame.
Awesome. Thank you.
So yeah, just getting run down the last little bit of SmackDown. What went down last Friday on one of our most darkest Fridays of the November calendar, because so long ago back, we lost Eddie Guerrero on that Friday. It's just so sad, but we got to see Rey Mysterio pay homage to Eddie with the little frog splash to end his rivalry with Seth Rollins in the no holds barred match, thanks to Murphy screwing Seth Rollins out and betraying him. And then we actually had a qualifying match to determine a spot on Team SmackDown for the women, with Liv Morgan taking on a debuting Chelsea Green and taking on Tamina and Natalya in a fatal four-way to determine a spot on the SmackDown Women's Survivor Series team. Unfortunately for Chelsea, it was not as great a night as she would have liked, because she ends up breaking her wrist in the match.
Her
so
left wrist.
Yeah, so she's out for a little bit, mending that broken wrist, which sucks. I mean, she just came up to the main roster that night in her first match on SmackDown and breaks her wrist, which sucks. That's just like a bad omen right there for anyone. You get called up to the big show, and your first match you get injured.
Yeah, real bad go of it.
Oh yeah.
So big vibes to Chelsea. I know I have folks up in Canada who know her and worked with her, and she's one of the nicest people. So
oh yeah. Fortunately for Chelsea Green, she's going to be out for a little bit. Liv Morgan is joining Team SmackDown in the women's side of the Survivor Series match. She will be joining her fellow Riot Squad member in that team. So, and then of course we had the last thing was an unsanctioned match between Drew and Jey Uso. It was dang good knock him out, drag out fight right there between these guys, an unsanctioned match. Drew looking towards Survivor Series and trying to get back into that world title picture, and he got his opportunity this past Monday. Let's get Raw this past week. We had let's just go with how it looked on Raw. This Raw was decent up until the main event, which was awesome. So the only reason that that Raw this past week was okay was the main event. It was hella good. I loved every second of watching Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton and for the WWE Championship. Drew is your new champ. He will be representing Team Raw in the Survivor Series in the World Champions match, which is going to be awesome. We had a 6-woman tag match with Asuka, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke taking on Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, the women's tag team champions, and Lana. And yeah, while Asuka, Mandy, and Dana picked up the victory, Mandy and Dana got the worst end of it because they got injured. And unfortunately for Lana, in the comic relief that it is Monday Night Raw for the last 8 weeks, well, 9 weeks now, because she has been put through the table for 9 straight weeks. Thanks to Nia Jax. And after week 1, I was like, okay, week 2, okay, it's kind of getting a little funny. 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like, okay, now it's kind of getting tiresome. But now it's kind of one of those like, you know what? Let's see how many weeks she can go. Can she get to double digits?
And now it's funny again, right?
It's funny too. I mean, it sucks that they have to do it to Lana, especially the fact that Miro is on AEW side now. But it's just one of those things where, you know what, you turn chicken, stuffed into chicken salad. Make with what the best stuff you can. Make something with the stuff you have, and obviously Lana being put through the announcer's table 9 times in a row is kind of working because it's very enjoyable, at least. We had Raw tag team titles on the line. New Day defending against the Hurt Business. This was actually, you know what? This was even another great matchup to see. Especially tag titles are on the line and Survivor Series spots are on the line in the champions matches. And I love that match with New Day taking on the Hurt Business. It was awesome. New Day retains, and they're still representing Raw in the Survivor Series as their Raw. Gotta get that moving going because they are their WWE Raw Tag Team Champions.
Yep.
Actually, that was actually fun. It felt good to always do those. Team Raw taking on Retribution. I was not impressed with this because this is just basically 2 teams who are dysfunctional. I mean, well, one is dysfunctional and one has just been shoved down our throats to a point, to say the least. I mean, you had the Team Raw Survivor Series looking dysfunctional and not working together, especially this close to Survivor Series, and Retribution getting their first win as a group, since debuting, and it wasn't impressive at all, just to say the least. Bray Wyatt taking on The Miz, and you know what? Bray Wyatt, of what he's been doing with the Fiend and the Firefly Funhouse, has been one of the best things going right now. Even adding Alexa Bliss to the crew has been fun to see what the heck the psychotic Mr. Rogers is going to do every week. It's been enjoyable. Any thoughts from you, Mr. Max, with the psychotic Mr. Rogers?
I love Bray Wyatt. I think I have definitely mentioned it on the show before. And like getting Alexa Bliss in on it. I mean, she's already kind of creepy looking as she can be. So doing that with Bray, I think it's a wonderful.
Wonderful.
I think it's I think it's a great pairing. So I hope they do more in the future. And give me more Bray Wyatt. Even though I'm not watching WWE weeklies.
Yeah. But yeah, Bray Wyatt right now has been on fire. It basically has been looking like he's been going through this whole getting even with everyone mentality that screwed him over, hurt him. before he became, the psychotic Mr. Rogers. If you remember, Bray Wyatt, was eyeing Randy Orton, and we all know back WrestleMania 34, I want to say, when they were back in Orlando, it was Orton versus Bray for the WWE title. Bray and Randy were a team. They won they were a part of the Wyatt family. Wyatt was WWE champion after the Elimination Chamber. Orton was the Royal Rumble winner, and yeah, just a whole lot of things coming out of that rivalry right there. And now it all kind of was part of the piece that led to psychotic Mr. Rogers himself right now. So a lot of backstory, backtracking to old things that made him look fresh now, which helps. Is been looking awesome to me. But that was Raw for this week. NXT. I cannot say enough about this. I've been loving this, brand for the longest time. So much that before we went into pandemic, hell, I went down to take over Portland. It was freaking awesome. I loved it. It was funner than hell. That was the best thing coming out of 2020. That's the only thing. After NXT takeover Portland, everything went to shit. That's all it was. So we had North American title on the line with Leon Ruff taking on Johnny Gargano in his rematch. And you know what? How he won it last week, beating Johnny Gargano thanks to Damian Priest, causing a distraction and him getting the roll up and winning the title last week was the best thing that they could. It was the funniest thing that they could do. And then this week in the rematch, Leon wins by DQ thanks to Damian again. Just like pull him out. Look at him, be like, "Yep, sorry, kid." Just clocks him. He wins by DQ. Thanks to interference on Johnny's behalf, and he retains again. So I love what Johnny's been going through. It's comic relief to see what Johnny has been doing so far. I love it. I tune into it every week just to see what Johnny Gargano's, he hates wheels for Halloween Havoc for spin the wheel, make the deal. After he wins, I love wheels. They're so useful,
So useful.
They're so useful. They move our cars, they move you from one place to the other. They're round. It's just a comic relief, and it brings some more aspirations or aspects to this guy. And now this week he's like, after Halloween Happy, he's like, I hate wheels. It's like, who made this match? Who signed? Oh, do your job, Regal. Sign off. I didn't sign a contract or anything. It's like, it just makes me smile just to see Johnny Gargano because he's so good. I love watching him, his wrestling. It's awesome. And this is just, great what they've been doing down there at NXT. It brings people in to watch this great brand. It should be, everyone should not be considering this the third brand. It's the brand right now going.
Agreed.
Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes. This one has also been a fun aspect of the show. With Cameron Grimes, especially from Halloween Havoc and the Haunted House of Terror match that they had, and Cameron just getting freaked out of his mind in the haunted house and then comes back to the arena and has to deal with zombies and everything's like this. It was fun to see. And then this week, he's still freaked out over the referee last week. And then this week they have a blindfold match.
Wild.
It was crazy, to say the least. Cameron, as soon as he puts the blindfold on, he runs and misses a crossbody, by that much. He wasn't even close to, he was close to him, but he missed just like misses. And Dexter just stands there like, waiting. He didn't move a muscle, almost the entire match. He's just waiting. And Cameron just acting like the goofy he is that he's been doing. Just, where is he? And he beats up the ref thinking it was, Cameron Grimes, or sorry, he was Dexter Loomis, which has been fun as hell. We didn't get a winner out of that one. It was just, chaos and calamity as Cameron Grimes escapes through the cage over the plexiglass and hightails it out of there. Couple more things. Timothy Thatcher defeats Austin Gray. Tommaso Ciampa, looking like he wants to get into it with Timothy Thatcher. That should be a great matchup right there for future. Ember Moon and Toni Storm tagging together. The returning Ember Moon taking on Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. I have been highly praising the women's division so much. It has been fun to see these women kick ass and tear down everything that perceives about the women's wrestling. It has been awesome. And of course the main event, the women's title on the line, Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley. That was a knockdown, drag 'em out brawl of a match. I loved every second of it. It was awesome. Io Shirai retains to keep her NXT women's title. And I loved it. I loved this week's episode. Not as much as Halloween Havoc. It was, Halloween Havoc I have loved. I still praise that night. That was fun. And I cannot wait for TakeOver War Games December 6th. War Games 4 is going to be awesome to see, as we're going to get Team Candice, Candice LeRae, and 3 other partners for her team taking on Team Shotzi. Shotzi Blackheart, who's also made a stop through WAC, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
She will pick 3, additional women to join her, and they're going to get on inside War Games. That's going to be fun. Oh, yeah. And then, of course, the other match we know of, the Kings of NXT, Pete Dunne, the tag team champions, Danny Burch and Oney Larkin, and Pat McAfee, the former Indianapolis field goal kicker, joining this, team, his team event, especially taking on the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, baby, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong inside War Games. I think, McAfee needs to pick his jaw off the floor and clean himself, because the second that Finn Balor brought Undisputed Era out and they brawled, and then the boss down there, Mr. William Regal, telling both teams that they're going to War Games. Pat McAfee lost his jaw and shat himself. A new pair. He literally was like, "Oh shit, I have to get inside War Games with Adam Cole, Fish, O'Reilly, and Strong. I'm screwed. I'm gonna die."
I was super impressed with Pat McAfee. So I'm interested to see how he fares inside War Games.
Oh yeah. I mean, remember, guys, he had a great matchup at TakeOver 30 with Adam Cole. It was unexpected, but it was a great match. I loved it. It was a fun match. And now they're gonna go hook it up again, but this time inside War Games, into that double ring, double steel cage matchup. It is going to be awesome. And we kind of know the theme. I kind of like talk about the theme musics on here on the wrestling podcast, because I believe that theme musics, if it's for a superstar or for an event or for TV, sets the tone for what the event is going to be or what the show is going to be. Like for War Games coming up, we got it sounding like Black Sabbath And War Pigs is, the War Pigs, song is going to be the theme for Takeover War Games.
Nice.
And that fits so well, especially when we saw the promo for it, with Candace, challenging Shotzi, Shotzi challenging Candace for War Games. That felt so natural and so good. And then, of course, Survivor Series, we'll get to in a little bit. Their theme is AC/DC's new Shot in the Dark. Literally back-to-back home runs right there. Like, theme musics are awesome, and we can have an entire podcast if we wanted to on just theme musics for here.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think that I think that music plays a huge part in hyping events, hyping the crowd, if there was a crowd, and just getting like there's a reason why like everybody remembers WrestleMania 19 because of the theme music. Like, that was incredible. So
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, Limp Bizkit and Crack Addict, that was freaking awesome. As with the theme, it fit so well. And then of course, Mama Snow chiming in here with, of course, Finn Balor had a great line as he brought Undisputed Era out. While the cat's away, the mice will play. Well, look what the cat dragged back in.
Right.
The Undisputed Era. That, of course, that was fun, great to see. That was NXT. And then we'll head over quickly to Dynamite, what happened this week, and then we'll close out, we'll get into Survivor Series a little bit. Dynamite, we had the Bucks, the new tag team champs, taking on Top Flight. Great matchup right there. Young Bucks beat Top Flight. Great matchup right there. Orange Cassidy taking on Kip Sabian. Kip Sabian loses to Orange Cassidy, the freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. One half of the Mimosa duo right there of Jericho and Orange Cassidy. Half of a mimosa right there is orange squeezed and, a little bit of the bubbly.
I'm a big fan of Orange Cassidy. We had some talks before the pandemic started about doing something with Orange Cassidy at WAC.
Oh, that would have been awesome. You know what? Maybe you could probably get him back, for after pandemic. That would be something cool.
Yeah, we're
just saying.
We've got ideas.
You got ideas that are just like sitting there waiting for that button to be pushed of like, when can
percolating.
Come back?
They're all percolating.
They're sitting at that cage like, okay, when the heck is the warden gonna let us out?
Pretty much.
The warden is saying, when we can have people back, man, relax. It's been months. I get it. Same for me. I'm stuck here too. With my mask on. And then of course we had the actually, I can say it. The Bastard Pack back in action, taking on the Blade, and Pack looking damn good as ever.
Yeah, he's got like 150 pack on his chest and his stomach. He looks incredible.
Yeah, he's this time off has been great for obviously looked good for him. Think he needed it. And well, he's back with a vengeance, taking on the Blade and beating the Blade. It was a great matchup. And then we had an NWA Women's Championship match in Serena Deb taking on Thunder Rosa.
Big fan of Thunder Rosa.
And a great matchup right there. Thunder Rosa does not reclaim her NWA Women's Championship. Serena Deb is still the reigning and defending NWA Women's Champion. And then main event, we had Brian Cage and Ricky Starks of Team Taz taking on Cody and Darby Allin. Not a great night for Cody and Darby Allin, the current TNT champion of the world, as the FTW champion, and Team Taz pick up the victory. And after the match, Will Hobbs comes in, cleans house, and just leaves Cody and Darby for dead and joins Team Taz.
Big fan of Willie Hobbs. Big fan. He's got a
He's a monster.
Mean spine buster.
Oh, you know what? Would his spine buster be one of the best ones out there compared to like a Double A or a Triple H or even a Bobby Roode spine buster?
I think that the best spine buster is still Farouk.
Oh, and Farouk. Oh, yeah, of course. Just that.
Closely followed, like just an inch away from the best Double A spine buster. Because the way that Double A was able to whip him around, oh man.
Oh yeah, a Double A spine buster is just so clean.
Yeah, chef's
and
kiss.
a chef's kiss of magnifique, of beauty right there. Go and watch some WCW footage of Arn Anderson and the Four Horsemen. It's so classic and so good just to see a Double A spine buster. It makes your liver quiver and give you the shakes that'll make you bake.
Yes.
It is so impactful. But yeah, that was Dynamite for the week. We'll go through Survivor Series right now. I mean, this is kind of a stacked card, this year. I mean, not as great, not as stacked as last year. Let's be truthful about that. I am a big advocate for last year's Survivor Series with it Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. When you get the three brands together, that's money. That's money in the bank right there. That is stuff you can sell. You could sell ice to, ketchup to an Eskimo, and he'd be like, I want that right now. But it's so good. This year's Survivor Series, we know, is going to be Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. The men's Survivor Series 5-on-5 classic Survivor Series elimination match. We'll see Team Raw's AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Riddle taking on Team SmackDown's KO, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, King Corbin, Seth Rollins, and a mystery unknown opponent that we'll probably find out this coming Friday, tomorrow night, before Survivor Series. We'll find out who the fifth man is. Predictions on that one?
I haven't been keeping up. Obviously, I don't watch the weeklies. But I'm hoping that it's like a return, like a big return, rather than just like oh, here's this guy that we haven't been using for a little bit. So here's, this guy.
So just a random person.
Yeah. So I'd want it to be like a return from an injury, or like maybe a random call up. I know that NXT isn't officially part of the show, but maybe if they've been hiding somebody away for a couple of weeks for quarantine, maybe they'll do something.
Okay, I could see that. I actually, of course, I got my classic Shane O'Mac blue Survivor Series jersey on because I feel like SmackDown is going to take the men's Survivor Series team. Raw just looks so much dysfunctional. I mean, and truth be told, if you go back and watch like past Survivor Series, which we'll suggest you in a little bit, teams that have like the big and bulky, beefy guys tend to not really win a whole lot of the team matches, the Survivor Series matches. Couple that I can think of, come to mind. You got Team Lesnar from 2003. They didn't win their match, and Lesnar had Big Show. He had A-Train, he had Matt Morgan, he had Nathan Jones, and he had himself. And those guys were, Kingdom Come here for Brock Lesnar, and he didn't win. He lost to Kurt Angle, John Cena, Bradshaw, Chris Benoit, and Kurt Angle. So that was a team right there. Let's see, another one I could think of. Shoot, I want to say I can't think of the team name off the bat, but it had they had Andre the Giant. They didn't win.
No, they didn't win.
They didn't win. It's
was that the one with Akeem the African Dream on it as well?
I think so. I think it's that one. But of course, you guys could go check that out, online to see, the matchups and everything. But we're going to recommend Survivor Series for you in a little bit. The women's side of the world for this 5-on-5 Survivor Series style match, we got Team Raw, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, the women's tag team champs, and Lana, along with replacements for Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose, as they are medically unable to compete from this past Monday. Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce for Team Raw taking on SmackDown's Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and 2 unknown members that we're going to find out, hopefully, again, this coming Friday night, that need to be filled out. As much as I want to say Team SmackDown wins this one, I don't. This one's a toss-up. It just depends on who is joining Team SmackDown.
You wanna build someone to the stratosphere, is that you have Bianca Belair be the sole survivor on her team.
Mm-hmm.
Take out everybody: Nia Jax, Lana, Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce, and then have her and Shayna Baszler go at it at the end. I don't really care who, at the end of that match, if I was booking it, if it was going to be Shayna or Bianca. But having those two at the end would build Bianca more than anything else. And she, she's one of the best, all around athletes WWE has had in years. So it would be really cool if they do something really, really good, really strong with her, like they did with Ziggler 4 years ago, where he was the sole survivor.
Yeah, I remember that Survivor. It was with the Authority. I remember that one.
And then they did nothing with him. What a shock!
Yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is. And of course, that one was, that Survivor Series I actually really like, because of course we had the debut of Stinger in that pay-per-view, and and contrary to what everyone says about this, the theme music for that one fits so well with the theme for Survivor Series, and with Cena versus the Authority. And it was, to shock surprise, it was Nickelback and Revolution. So that one was, I love that song. It fits so well with Survivor Series for that year. It was awesome. Now we're getting to the champion versus champion stuff. We're going Intercontinental versus U.S. champ Bobby Lashley taking on Sami Zayn in the champion versus champion match. I kind of want to pick Bobby Lashley for this, but I feel like Sami Zayn could surprise some people. Could pull off a surprise defeat of Lashley and bring some more prestige and respect back to the name of the Intercontinental Championship. I feel like the U.S. title, granted, it got a facelift earlier in the year. And, I missed that old title, that old style title, the Eddie Guerrero version. When Steph brought it back out, back in 2003, and Eddie was the first champ, that thing has just been classic and timeless. But the new U.S. title, has had a couple champions, Apollo and Bobby Lashley. Lashley's been doing good. I will admit, Bobby Lashley's been doing great as a U.S. champ. Sami Zayn, coming back from the COVID hiatus and what he's been able to do with the Intercontinental Championship has been great. But I feel like, he obviously feels like the Intercontinental Championship hasn't gotten the respect it deserves. Intercontinental Championship has been around for decades. To the point where we had Pat Patterson as the first champ. It's got history. This is the workhorse title. This is the title that gets you guys ready for the world title scene. Think about it. Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Eddie Guerrero has held this title. Edge has held this title. Hunter's, Triple H has held the title. Austin's held the title. The Rock. I mean, this is a title that, you're going to put the work in for. You're going to be the one that is going to carry the load, and it's also going to get you guys ready for that world title picture. So I feel like the U.S. title's been more taking over that mantra that's getting you ready for the world title scene to a point. But again, crazier things could happen with that. Any thoughts on that?
I think Zayn wins. I'm just a bigger fan of Zayn, but once again, I don't know how they're booking it. So
yeah, I mean, we're just shooting the breeze on this. We're just thinking about it. Tag team titles, not up for grabs because it's the tag team titles or champions match. The New Day as the Raw tag team champions taking on the Street Profits, the SmackDown tag team champions of the world, Angel Dawkins and Montez Ford. This one's going to be one of the show stealers of the night. This one's going to be a match that everyone tunes in for because you got Kofi, you got Xavier Woods, Angel Dawkins, Montez Ford. These guys are going to be throwing everything at each other, and this is going to be one match you do not want to miss. I'm going to enjoy every second of this tag team champions match. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, I think I really like the Street Profits. I've always liked the Street Profits. And I think since the New Day has kind of had this resurgence now that Big E is on the other brand, I think it makes a lot more sense to let them kind of roll with the punches and have some fun with an up and coming tag team.
Oh yeah, I mean, again, the New Day is not they're still together. It's just that they're on different brands.
Right.
It's just they're expanding their brands instead of just being on one brand. And of course, we have the women's champions match, a rematch, you could say, from months ago with Asuka taking on Sasha Banks. Asuka, the Raw women's champ, Sasha, the SmackDown women's champ. I do not know about this one.
I think Sasha wins because she's on The Mandalorian.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I feel like, I too can feel like Sasha Banks can win this one. I mean, they're pushing Sasha now a lot harder. Yeah, she's on The Mandalorian. She just beat Bayley and ended her year-long reign as champion. And, granted, Sasha, winning the Raw Women's title from Asuka earlier in the year. And this is going to be, a rematch between these two women, and probably ending their rivalry again, with everything that has gone down between these two women and over the summer. So I think Sasha could win this, but maybe Asuka, puts the kibosh, with everything that they've been through. And then of course the world champs going at it in their world title champion versus champion matches. It'll be Drew McIntyre, the Raw WWE champion, taking on SmackDown's Universal Champion Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, with Paul Heyman at his side. This one, of course, can't wait to see the first time we're going to see Drew McIntyre, who just got back the WWE Championship this past Monday, taking on the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. This should be a damn good World Champions match right here.
Hoss fight.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a bit, where's the beef? There's the beef right there. The world champs going at it. Again, don't really see anything, again, this is, just brand versus brand. No real storylines I could see coming out of this. After this, maybe, it was maybe some interference and, that caused some storylines going forward for one side, not like an intermixture like it was back in the day for everyone. Yeah, this one's a toss-up. I don't know who they're gonna, who we're gonna, who they're gonna book to win, because both champions could win. And I feel like Drew, who just got his title back, I think he's got a little bit more momentum, and he's gonna prove, that why everyone should be watching Raw, for him as the champ. So I think Raw could win the world title matchup.
I think it makes more sense to book McIntyre for the win, just because he did just take back his title or take back the title, and it in like my booker brain, it just makes a lot more sense to have somebody who's already in a momentum swing to continue the momentum.
Yeah, I mean, especially with everything going on with Roman Reigns, heading to what everyone's possibly thinking that we're going to get this long story that's going to end at WrestleMania with the return of The Rock taking on Roman Reigns. That's what's being thrown out there and, thrown out there in Thoughtland, because of Roman taking on his cousin, Jey Uso, and now he's with him. So, yeah, again, anything could, a lot of things could happen.
It's going to be Rikishi.
Oh, Rikishi, the big quiche.
Big quiche.
Did he do it for The Rock? Did he do it for his sons? Getting that dance in.
Yep.
The big quiche. But yeah, that is Survivor Series, all in tow for this week. And of course, we're gonna see Undertaker's appearance at the show. He will be live at the Thunderdome at the event he debuted in 30 years ago, when he walked to the ring with Brother Love.
I
love you. And join the $1 Million Team and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, in the Survivor Series. 30 years later, he is hanging it up. What a ride.
Or so they say.
Well, yeah.
I think it's the ultimate swerve, and he's having one more match, and then he's done.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I could see this whole thing coming out is if we get to WrestleMania, one more match, and we have the crowd back. Or at least get to a match where we have the crowd back. Some point where we get the crowd back and we get the real retirement right there. That's the only way I could see this happening, bar none.
Yeah,
because you cannot. I love the Boneyard match. That if that was the Undertaker's true send off, then it was awesome. But I feel like the crowd who has been with him for 30 years, they want to see him. They want to cheer as loud and as proud as they can with him in the ring. And they want to do it, when we can get back together again.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, that is Survivor Series. Before we peace out for this episode, before we peace out for the night, we're going to kind of do something fun with you guys. We're going to recommend, we're in Survivor Series mode over here at the Flex Network. We're in Survivor Series mode. So how about we get you guys, enthusiastic, and we get you guys to go check out a classic Survivor Series Undertaker match, a pay-per-view to go and check out while you're in this Survivor Series mode. Let's bring up the wheel. Shagink. And we got a lot of great, shows. I mean, last week we talked about Survivor Series 03. That was awesome, to say the least. But we still got a bunch of great Survivor Series up here. We still got all the way back at 1990, his debut. We got that one up on the board. We got 98, the Deadly Games tournament. That was awesome. But yeah, let's give this wheel a good old spin and let's see what we're going to land on. Big money, big money. No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Oh, okay. We're going old school. The new generation.
Yeah, Taker versus Yokozuna, right?
Yes, Taker versus Yokozuna
In a casket match.
Casket match. with
Chuck
special
Norris.
guest enforcer Chuck Norris, Walker, Texas Ranger. That,
Wild.
see, this man knows his wrestling too, so he knows it. But yeah, that was a great Survivor Series right there on its own. The price of admission right there is just seeing the casket match right there between Yokozuna and the Undertaker. Let's see, bringing up my old notes here of what matches we had. I mean, literally, San Antonio, Texas, 10,000 people was in the building. It was a great show. We had matches. We had 5-on-5 Survivor Series style match. We had the wait a minute. Actually, I already did. I don't know why I'm saying this. I already did 94. I forgot to take that off my wheel. How unprofessional of me, guys. 94 shouldn't be on here. We did that like 2 weeks ago. So we got a respin here, ladies and gentlemen.
Reroll.
We roll that thing. Big money, big money, big money. Ooh. Okay. 96.
That was
all right, Mr. Max. 96.
That was when Paul Bearer was in the shark cage, right?
Yes.
Against Mankind.
Yes. That one is another classic one. And of course, this one was at Madison Square Garden.
MSG, baby.
MSG, the home of WWE. 1996, 1 year before Screwjob, series. We had, of course, made the big matchup for that was for the Undertaker, Mankind, 1-on-1. The Undertaker coming back after getting buried alive in your house, buried alive, thanks to Mankind and the Executioner and Paul Bearer. And he's coming back, not from below, not straight ahead. He's coming from above in this, like a black bat coming out of, the heavens. And that was a classic, entrance, because he's coming all the way down in this big, bat-ish looking attire. This is essentially what would be starting of, I would feel like the Lord of Darkness kind of, kickstarting right there. But yeah, it was a great matchup. Survivor Series matches we had on this card. I mean, we had on the free for all. We had Adoyo Montoya, Bart Gunn, Bob Holly, and Jesse James taking on Billy Gunn, Justin Hawk Bradshaw, Salvatore Cerise, and the Sultan, with the Iron Sheik and Uncle Zebediah in their corners, in a 4-on-4 Survivor Series matchup. On the main card, we had Doug Furnius, Henry Godwin, Doug Furnius and Henry Godwin, Pat LaFawn and Phineas Godwin, with Hillbilly Jim taking on the British Bulldog, Leif Cassidy, Marty Jannetty, Owen Hart, in a 4-on-4 Survivor Series style match. That's a good one right there. We had another one, and this one also was a debut, because we had Jake the Snake Roberts, Fabulous Mark Mero, the Stalker, and a debuting young rookie that would go on to be the People's Champion, Rocky Maivia, making his debut at the Survivor Series in 1996. How's that for a throwback? We got two birds with one stone here.
Right? We were just talking about The Rock.
Yeah. Taking on Crush, Goldust with Marlena, Jerry the King Lawler, and a very regalist Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Yeah, the blue blood Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Oh yeah. In a 4-on-4 Survivor Series match. We had a number 1 contenders match for the World Wrestling Federation Championship in the first matchup in this storied rivalry between Bret the Hitman Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
One of the best matches of all time.
And one of the best rivalries right there.
Yep.
Everything that, from Survivor Series all the way to WrestleMania 13 and onward. That was just so classic. This one had 4 Survivor Series style matchups on the card. How crazy is that?
It was a lot of people
on
on the card.
You had 3 on the main card and then 1 on the free for all.
Yeah.
Technically the pre-show. But yeah. So the last Survivor Series style matchup for the night was Big Daddy Cool Diesel, Farouk, Razor Ramon, and Vader. Wait a minute. No, actually, this wasn't Big Daddy Cool. This was Fake Daddy Cool Diesel and Fake Razor Ramon at that time. I forgot. This was right after these guys had left to go to WCW and be outsiders. So yeah, technically we had Fake Diesel, aka Kane.
Yep.
For everyone out there, and we had Fake Razor Ramon, which we never saw him again after that. Farouk and Vader taking on Flash Funk, aka Too Cold Scorpio, Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Savio Vega, and Yokozuna. And unfortunately, that match, we didn't have a winner in that matchup.
Nope.
That was just a pure 6 brawl all the way through. Just everyone fighting. And then, of course, we had the World Wrestling Federation Championship on the line. We had Psycho Sid taking on the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels.
Yep. With his coach, Jose Lothario.
Yep, Jose Lothario. That is a classic Survivor Series right there in MSG. That's just so classic. I loved that that Survivor Series. It was awesome. You know what? Do we want to do one more just for fun? Another spin? Get you guys to get 2?
You can. I have to go. I have food.
Okay. Actually, you know what? Actually, you know what? I think it's a good spot. We're going to end right there. So, all right, guys, we're going to start rolling out of here. Max, where can the people find you, my man?
Yo, so my name is Max Wrestling WA. That WA stands for Washington because I am an independent sports entertainment promoter professional out here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. You can follow me at Max Wrestling WA everywhere. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, and then follow Without a Cause, my homebrewed company with my best friends, Dave Turner and Chris Ross. Without a Cause WA everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can follow us also, or you can watch all of our stuff. We have a YouTube and also IWTV. We will be back on Sunday with more Without a Crowd action. You can follow all of that stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. And remember, guys, they will be back on Sunday for their 3rd episode, their 3rd show, Without a Crowd. Check that out on Twitch. Search for Mr. Max Wrestling WA. And they will be showing that lovely Without a Crowd. The 3rd episode will be coming out. And then of course you can follow me, guys. Down below you can follow me, the Snowman. You can follow us at Facebook, Twitter. You can find us at for your fantasy football content at Flex Network 1, and for the wrestling side of the world, which you all should be doing, you can find us on Twitter, Flex Network _PW Elite. We're also on YouTube. You can follow us there. Just search for Flex Network. And of course, Flex Network for your wrestling content too. I will be back next Wednesday for another NFL Week in Review show with the boys, Cowboy Cam and Flex Mike. And then, of course, I'll be back here again next Thursday for your weekly dose of wrestling content as we look back at Survivor Series, what went down over the weekend. But my friends, and of course, everyone, you should be liking, subscribing, following us at the Flex Network, and following this man over here, Max Wrestling WA. Follow this man on Twitch, YouTube, I automatically say YouTube because everything, but Facebook, Twitter, follow him everywhere. Just don't be a stalker, hiding in his bushes and stalking him.
A little spooky.
And of course, you can follow, if you are listening on podcasts and we are not somewhere where you get your podcast fix at, let us know. We will get there. We will flex on that. But that is going to be it for us, everybody. We are going to roll on out of here. Max, thank you for coming out on the show. We will bring you, we want to bring you back, man. It's always a blast having you on here.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for having me. I hope everybody is safe, and wear your damn masks, please.
Yes, we are in our, technically this, for us here in Washington, we're about to go into a modified lockdown to a point again. So for everyone out there, I say this, wear your mask. And so until we get this stinking COVID under control, wear a mask, please. But that is going to be it for us, guys. For Max Wrestling, aka the boss, the CEO of WAC, the boss, Max, I am the Snowman. We gonna roll on out of here. We will see you guys later. Peace out.
Showtime every minute till I can't help it. No. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Ta-ta for now. We're out of time. Good night on Nitro.
The preceding announcement has been paid for by the New World Order.
Well, you're welcome, Jurassic Slap Ass.